task is called Researching Space, and we have decided to go to the pub to change the purpose of the space by studying. By doing that, we're going to bring out our laptops and tell everyone to keep quiet. And when that is done, we will be able to gauge their response by how they are reacting to what we are doing.
So the way we researched last week is going to be different than this week, because rather than being more of an observer and talking to other people about their experiences, we're going to be more of the objects of our own research, and
we engage much
engaging more in it.
Yeah, I agree. The same goes for the structure, because we don't know what's going to happen.
I also think the structure and the planning will be different from last week's zone, because last week's zone we knew where we were going, like we knew the rooms that we were going to, we knew the type of people we were going to interview, like the students and the lecturers, but whereas this week's one, I don't think it's going to be like last week's, because it's not really planned.
But the most important is that we know the differences and we're ready for them,
Yeah.
So where are we going?
We're going now.
So we're about to go into the Phoenix. So we've changed our plan, we've had to go to Quids because the Phoenix bastards.
If she's going to...
It's closed now.
We should find some other place then.
So third pub lucky, we're going to try Wetherspoons.
I don't want to do it again.
The disagreements we had between ourselves and the staff of the pub, we decided to go out on the street and disrupt this space.
But on the way, you can see buildings, which is actually like the first space, according to Edward Soya, because he argues that space have 3 dimensions. So the first dimension, material realities, like this building, for example, or
very tall building.
Or this tree, for example.
Yeah.
Or this bin over here, for example. All the material realities, they actually structure the space.
We decided to look at an interactive map of Coventry, which shows Earl Street, which is the street that we want to disrupt. According to Edward Sawyer, the second space is the representations and the surroundings of the space.
So actually map, like the representation of the space is actually the map. So we're really interested in mapping the Coventry, the way it was mapping and the way it is mapping now.
Yeah, and in this map you can see all the icons that they've used, which shows a more modern representation of it rather than the historical one we've already looked at.
Earl Street in the 70s. This building, which is now the Ellen Terry building, was used in the 70s as a cinema. Earl Street, which is where we did our second task of disrupting a space, was in the 70s used as a high street with lots of independent shops. The purpose of Earl Street started changing when the university moved in. The cinema was converted to the Ellen Terry building. Where the shops used to be, the hub was built. We disrupted Earl Street by bringing the purpose of the university even further out, therefore changing its purpose. We disrupted this space more than anyone before because rather than using the space to walk, we used it to study and stopped other people from being able to walk past.
And through research we found out that people who have been living here for a long time agree with the fact that due to the city becoming a university city, the entire meaning of the city has changed. This is another force that has disrupted the space. So then, based on this idea, we went and set up our experiment, and now you're gonna get to see what the reactions of the people passing by were.
Okay, so we are trying to disrupt the space here in Coventry. We'll see what's gonna happen. So what do you guys think? Is it a good place to study?
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I think the same. With this theory, we do face to camera.
Yeah.
Yeah? That's your...
Trying to study. That was the
You're such idiots. People are looking at us. She's very confused at why they're all sat down.
Trying to study here. Could you go around? Could you go around, sorry?
When I was doing the
task with my other group members, I noticed that a lot of people that were approaching us felt a bit intimidated because we were just sitting on the sidewalk where people pass, and people were a bit annoyed at the fact they had to walk around us. So I noticed that a lot of people were a bit annoyed, and I noticed people were staring as well because they were a bit confused about what we were doing.
So during the experiment, I noticed that the main reaction from the public was that what we were doing was strange and unusual, and I noticed a lot of people laughing, and especially when I asked a girl to go around one of the poles and told her to be quiet, she stared at me like, "Why are you saying that?" and she laughed as she was walking up to me. So it was definitely different and disrupting what the public was trying to do of just getting where they needed to go. Generally, they seemed annoyed at the fact that we were bringing the purpose of the university even further out than what they're used to.